Welcome back, Movie Masters, and today this might be the most important episode ever because it's about cleaning your lenses, and your lenses can sometimes cost more than your camera. So you do want to take proper care of them and don't let them get fungus or build up with dust. So in this episode, we're going to show you how to properly take care and clean your lenses and also your camera gear with a couple of little tips that I have found over the years while using my equipment. Now, I have deliberately done the most terrible cardinal sin of all things. I have been letting my lenses collect dust just so I could show you how to clean them. But I will admit, just my cheaper lenses and the ones I don't use much. And I have an old A7 that I haven't used for years that's been collecting dust, and we're going to clean that up and I'll show you the whole process of how that's done. Okay, but first let's get into the equipment that you are going to need. So you can go out and buy a lens cleaning kit, and that generally consists of about 3 different items. Those items being an air blower, a microfiber cloth, and then a cleaning pen, which has a brush on one end, and the other you screw up the cap and it has a little cleaning tip. Now, if you don't have one of these, you might have something laying about the house that might be able to help you. Also, another thing that you should always have, and this isn't just for cleaning lenses, this is for electronics in general, isopropyl alcohol, and over 99% is generally best. Now, this stuff has got me out of many handy situations. I'll go through that a bit later, so continue watching. But first, here I have an old vintage Olympus lens, which came from one of the original OM1 cameras. This thing is about 40 to 50 years old, and it is dirty. And then, so I'm just going to put that over here. And then we are also cleaning an old A7 lens with an old nifty 50 Canon 50mm, which I've got on with an EOS to NEX adapter. Let's take our tools and clean away. So there is a particular order in what you want to be cleaning the lenses in, and I'll explain why. If you have been to the beach or if you've got any sand in your backpack, you don't, and I can't stress enough, you do not want to be rubbing sand onto your lens. So if you have had sand on your cloth or on your bag or on the lens, make sure you remove the sand first, and we do that with the blower. Another thing, if you are going to be using any kind of cleaning solution, do not spray it onto the lens, spray it onto the cloth and then rub it onto the lens, because you could get liquid inside the lenses. Some of them aren't weather sealed, so that is really important. We've got this very dirty lens here, full of dust. We're going to start by blowing off the dust. Just like that. That's already removing a lot of the dust. Now, you may also have dust on the body of the lens itself. Now, we'll go into cleaning that afterwards. That is a slightly different process. I actually find that's what I use my isopropyl alcohol for. You can use it for cleaning the lenses themselves. Some people like to mix it with a 50-50 water solution. Personally, I will just use this on its own, but I try not to clean the lenses too often because it is made of alcohol and it could strip some of the lens or the coating from the top of the lens. So also make sure you're not cleaning the lenses too often. Just clean them like once in a while or when they're actually dirty. You might not know your lens is dirty until too late, and there are many different ways to find out if your lens is dirty or not. Sometimes it can be the camera or the body itself. Now, one thing I recommend is putting on any lens, or the lens that you think is dirty, and then take a photo aiming at a white wall with the f-stop set to as high as possible. So like say 22 or 17 or anything above 10. And you will start to notice specks on the screen. And that's when you'll notice if you have dirt on the front of the lens, on the back of the lens, or on the sensor itself. So after we've got rid of the dust from the front of the lens with the blower, we'll then use our pen. So this one, it's just a little push-up one. And here, just very carefully dust the lens off. Now I find that if I'm holding it at a downward angle, the dust is going to go down on the floor, or instead of going back onto the lens. So that's one little tip to do while you're cleaning your lenses. So after you have removed most of the dust, you can use this special cleaning tip if you've got one of these pens. As I said, if not, you can use a bit of isopropyl alcohol. Now, as I said, you put it on the cloth itself. Now, I'm not going to do this every time, only if I have like a bad smudge that I am going to resort to using any sort of lens cleaner. If it is purely just dust, I'm just going to use the brushes. And just gently wipe them off. I get my cloth, a little bit of spray on the cloth. Just wipe that round. Now the good thing with isopropyl alcohol is it evaporates almost immediately. Whereas when you mix it with water, it's going to stay around. I have found a lot of people use a variety of different methods. Some people like to use just the alcohol, some people like to use the 50-50, other people have cleaning solutions, or other people just use the brushes and the cloths themselves. I'd like to hear your opinion on it and what you found works best for you. So leave a comment below and you tell me if you have a better option that you find that you do to take care of your cameras. Now, one other way to protect your lenses, let me just use this one for an example. I have the new anamorphic Sony 50mm f1.8. Now, obviously make sure you keep the bottom cap and the top cap of your lens on. So you can see some of my lenses I don't have caps on now. I use these lenses a lot and are switching them for the sake of some of my films, so that's why you might see these. So any of your camera stores will sell universal bases and universal caps depending on the size of your lens. Another tip, and you will find these useful, are things like ND or UV filters, or just any kind of screw-on filter that you can put on top. Now, these range anywhere from $20 to $150 depending on what kind of filter you're using, but they will also save your lens from damage. So not only are they handy for a variety of different reasons like ND filters or UV filters, but they will also save your lens from damage. So they're always a little nifty thing to have to keep handy. So I haven't had to clean my silvery lens because the whole time I've had this ND filter on the top. But once again, to repeat the process, I'm gonna start by blowing the dust off with the air blower. Then using the brush, once again, do it on a downward angle so any dust falls down. And I will repeat, don't do this if there's any sand on the lenses, because you will just be grinding sand into your lens. I mean, you use the brushes and the blower to get the sand off. Don't wipe this with sand on it. Just like new. Okay, now let's move on to my old friend, the Sony a7. Now, this is still a great camera. It was the first full frame camera I owned, and occasionally I still use it, mainly for photography. But look, it's gathered a lot of dust and stuff over the years. Now, I will say you can use the same process. Start with the blower, but you're gonna get a little bit more dust in here. Now, on the body itself, you could use things like wet wipes or a damp cloth, because these bodies are made to be cleaned. But as I said, the isopropyl alcohol, this can be used for cleaning many different things. Now, I actually use this all the time to clean electronics, sometimes to even bring them back to life. So a lot of the time, I have a bad habit of getting salt water in my phone charging port. So what I do is put a little bit of alcohol on cotton bud or something tiny, and you can actually clean rust and salt off electronics using this. So this is really handy just to keep, and you'll find this in your local electronics store. If you're in Australia, I got this from Jaycar, and this cost about 10 Australian dollars. So this is very cheap and a very handy tool to have. Now, what these little cleaning pens double as, they work instead of using the isopropyl alcohol. Now, they have a special substance that is put on the pen tip, which is kind of like a little bit of cleaning solution, and you use that to just clean and get at different angles. And that pops back down just like that. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to clean the camera body itself. Now I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge of this tip, because I know that edge there, this camera has a lot of dust and dirt on over the years, and I don't want to be then bringing that dust and dirt onto my lenses and other things. So I'm just going to use the tip of that here. And that's why I suggest, if you are cleaning the body, maybe use something different than the same microfiber cloth that you are cleaning your lens with, because you might be bringing all that extra dust and debris onto your lens. But the alcohol is certainly going to give your camera a shiny new look and help get rid of all of that a lot faster. Now, to get in the little hard to reach places, just use a little cotton bud, spray some of this on the cotton bud, and away you go. And you will see the satisfaction in the dirt on each cotton bud, and you feel like, you know, you're getting somewhere. Now, one thing to be really careful of is the sensors themselves. So same process, start with the blower, and you'll be able to see the dust. If there is dust on the sensor, you will be able to see that. So there's a little dust on there, and as I said, same thing, same principle you can use with the lenses. You just hold it at a downward angle. Try to blow that dust off there. Very gently wipe away. You don't want to be putting your finger on this. I have seen these videos of people putting their fingers on there, and it just feels like blasphemy. All right, so that is how you properly take care of your camera equipment. Now, I will mention, one, shouldn't leave your cameras just sitting around without a lens cap or lens on them. So if you're enjoying this video, hit the like and subscribe button. Anyway, so that's how we clean the lenses. If you have any other tips or tricks that you find useful, please let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching Movie Masters. We'll see you next time.